So a very interesting story broke today about Hugh Hefner reporting Epstein to the FBI. Hefner found out from a playmate that she had been trafficked by Epstein. She asked him to report it because she thought Hefner would have more pull than she would. He did report it, and the FBI did not follow up on that lead for 15 years. Oddly enough, though, this is not the first time that Hugh Hefner contributed to tips to the FBI on a major case. This is Andrew Goodman, James Earl Chaney, and Mickey Schwerner, known as the Mississippi Three. If you're unfamiliar with this case, it's a big reason why we got the Voting Rights Act in the first place. In the summer of 1964, Mickey Schwerner was helping run a freedom school out of Mount Zion Methodist Church in Neshoba County, Mississippi. So they're working for voting rights to register people to vote and also for economic justice in the area. The Klan shows up at the church, but Schwerner isn't there, so they beat a bunch of people up and they burn the church to the ground. So Schwerner had actually been at a training session in Ohio. He teams up with Chaney and Goodman, a new recruit to CORE, the Congress of Racial Equality. They return to Mississippi and they go to the site of that burned out church to try to figure out what happened. As they are leaving, they are pulled over by Deputy Sheriff Cecil Price, who happens to be a Klansman. He arrests them on some BS charges, allegedly under suspicion for church arson, holds them for 7 hours, and then releases them on bail. And then he takes the time to take another deputy home, I assume because he thinks this person won't want to be involved in this. Then he goes back to where these three will be, arrests them, or at least forces them into the backseat of his car somehow, and then hands them over to Klansmen who beat, shoot, and kill them, and then set their car on fire. So we have the burned out car, we don't have the bodies of the Mississippi Three, and by this point you're probably wondering how the hell Hugh Hefner fits into any of this. But this is Jesse Jackson for Variety Magazine, writing Hugh Hefner was ahead of his time in support of racial equality. This does not excuse all of the other things Hugh Hefner did, this is just what he did on civil rights. Jackson writes that Hefner helped Dr. King make payroll. He held fundraisers at the mansion for the Urban League, the NAACP, and Operation Breadbasket, the economic arm of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, which was Dr. King's group. Dr. King appointed me, Jackson, to lead Breadbasket in 1966, a position I held until I started push in December of 1971. Every step of the way, Hef was there. Back then they had Playboy clubs, there were franchises in New Orleans and Miami that Hef found out were refusing to serve Black patrons, so he bought them out so that there wouldn't be any Playboy clubs in the country that refused to serve Black people. 3 years later, Hef gave Dick Gregory $25,000 to use as reward money in search of the bodies of slain civil rights workers Chaney, Goodman, and Schwerner, the Mississippi Three. All of the public pressure plus the reward money led to police actually finding the bodies and prosecuting the cases, though a segregationist judge made sure none of them were given more than 10 years, none actually served more than 6. Of course, this is the Mississippi burning case, so a final trial was held in 2005, resulting in the conviction of Edgar Ray Killeen on 3 counts of manslaughter. He was sentenced to 60 years in prison, and he died there in 2018. So yeah, for all of his many faults when it comes to civil rights and the biggest trafficking case of our age, sounds like Hugh Hefner was on the right side of history on that one.